Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I came across this story that disturbed me slightly, and it disturbs me for what it portends for the Nigerian state. Now, a lot of you following my channel will be aware, would have noticed that I've been saying for a good while now that no elections is going to take place in Nigeria in February. What is going to take place is a sham and a charade, and really just a ceremony of affirmation of Malam Buhari back in power. And I say this for several reasons. We're now weeks away from the elections rather than months, and there's been no visible sighting of Malam Buhari on the electoral trail. There's been no real campaigning, there's been no real activities, because really they feel no need to have to spend the money, because really they already know that they're just going to reaffirm themselves in power. So now, and contrast that, by the way, with somebody like Sowore or Kingsley Moghalu, or even now Atiku, who every time you switch on the news, they're there canvassing for your vote and telling you all the things that they can do, and pointing out the numerous failings of this regime, of the Buhari regime. So now I came across this story. As I said, I am going to read you just a few paragraphs of it, and then we'll carry on. So it goes. It says, as Buhari chairs own campaign council. Okay, let me start all over again, because just bear with me one moment. Okay, let's take it from here. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, and the oil magnate Femi Otedola have been named as members of the advisory committee for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Chief Femi Adesina. I never knew Femi Adesina was a chief, but apparently he is now. Chief Femi Adesina, in a statement in Abuja on Friday, said President Buhari will chair the All Progressive Party Congress APC Presidential Council for his re-election. According to the statement, the former governor of Lagos State, governor and national leader of the party, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, will serve as co-chair, while the Minister of Transportation, the crook from Cross River State, Rotimi Amechi, has been reappointed as the Director General. Aside, Dangote and Otedola, other members of the advisory committees to the president, the vice president, who is also one of the vice chairs of the campaign council. Okay, and on it goes. But really what I wanted to highlight was the fact that Otedola and Dangote have now joined effectively the Buhari campaign trail. And also it's now coming out today that Ribadu, the former AFCC man, has not only joined the Buhari re-election campaign, he has also donated vehicles and office premises within his state for the sole purpose of that campaign, for the sole purpose of the re-election of Malam Buhari. But what really disturbs me really is these two gentlemen, and I call them gentlemen, I use that term loosely, Dangote and Otedola, coming in and weighing in on the side of Malam Buhari. Now, traditionally, Dangote has never really come out to back a candidate for an election, because he has always been of the position that whoever emerges, he was going to have to have to work with them, because really the whole of the Dangote entity is exclusively and wholly reliant on government patronage, and particularly patronage by whoever sits in the seat of the president. So he needs really to be pally with whoever is president. So it is not in his interest to back a candidate, because if the candidate that he backs does not win, the repercussions will almost effectively be the ruining of him. So he cannot afford to back a candidate. So why then has he come out on this occasion to back a candidate? Well, he has come out on this occasion to back a candidate because he has also made that calculation and has been given the assurances, and is firm in his understanding that what's going to take place in February will just be a charade that will be put on for the cameras, especially for the international community, just to say an election has taken place, and then Buhari will carry on. So there'll be no real elections. There's no possibility of anybody else winning anything, not because of Buhari's popularity, but because really the system is completely skewed in his favor. All the military apparatus have already pledged their loyalties to him. So all the militaries and all the arms of all the gun carrying elements within the structure, the army, the police, etc., they've all already pledged their allegiance to Buhari. The chairman, effectively, of INEC is Buhari's relative, and all the money people are there, and he has already made it clear that he's not really going to run an election. He's just going to reaffirm himself in power. So now, with Dangote coming out to declare for Buhari now, and being a member of his re-election committee, is a gold standard declaration for his re-election. So Dangote now coming out to campaign effectively for Buhari is effectively edging his bet. And he's edging his bets really because they are assured that it's a winning bet. So him coming out now, he serves several purposes. One, he's stating to the Buhari acolytes and the Buhari entity that, look, I am staking all of my reputation and my being for your re-election. And you know what that means. So he's doing that. So and also he's then using that as leverage for when that re-election does take place. He can then go back and say, look how much I staked for your re-election, and then obviously Buhari would then happily open up the Central Bank of Nigeria for the Dangote trucks to go and have a field day. So a high-stake gamble, but really, is it a gamble? Well, for me, it's not really that much of a gamble, because really, as I've always maintained and has always been made clear, there will be no real elections taking place in February. But Buhari is just going to have like a charade, and he doesn't really have the strength to campaign anyway, really, Malam Buhari, because he's an elderly man, he's a frail man, and he's an unwell man. So really, he doesn't really have the energy for a campaign. This is not a man that can stand on a rostrum for 2 hours solid, or even an hour solid. I don't think he can stand on the rostrum for an hour solid, canvassing for anybody's vote. And he's too arrogant to canvass for anybody's vote anyway, because he knows that he doesn't really need your vote. He can just shoot his way back into Aso Rock, which is exactly what he's intending to do. That's the language that he knows. And really, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Buhari is an 80-something-year-old man, so there's nothing new left for him to learn. He's just going to carry on as he is. So really, that is what is going on by my perception. With Dangote, and obviously, wherever you see Dangote, you'll obviously see Otedola as well, because he's like the follow he knows, you know, where the butter is being bred, so he will always follow the Aboki man from the north, and that really is the language that is coming out of the Nigerian election processes. So I use the word elections. That's probably the last time I will refer to it as an election on this channel. Also, I'm going to from henceforth it's going to be the charade. So you can substitute that word election for the word charade, which is exactly what is going to take place. What is your assessment of my reading of the situation? Let's have that conversation in the comment section down below. So I'll leave you here and meet you there, and I'll say peace.